Howdy fellow model railroaders, my name's Kevin Brown and I want to thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. Thought I'd spend some time today and run a few passenger trains and exercise some locomotives I haven't in a while. And I thought this would be a pretty good opportunity to also do a quickie update on progress on my layout and things of that nature, plus a quest I went on to try and find some F units that were still in use in western Illinois. First things first though, I want to welcome all sorts of new subscribers to my channel. Roy Smith was kind enough to give me a shout out on his excellent channel, and that brought a lot of people in. I think also the last video on the National N-Scale Convention, that's got more hits than practically any video I've ever posted. So between those two, there's quite a few people who have joined. I want to say thank you and welcome aboard. Just a quick rundown. I have a small layout in my basement based on T-Track modules. I am active with a T-Track model railroading group we go shows throughout central Illinois and sometimes beyond. And so that's the sort of stuff I feature on my channel, plus the occasional rail fanning and things of that nature. So like I say, welcome aboard. Glad to see you guys here. And I guess I'll move on from there to layout progress. I'm pretty pleased with what I've gotten done lately. So let's go take a quick look over what's going on at Minneapolis. Catch you in a second. I know last video I showed off the Miracle Publishing building, which was an old Concord kit. I'm very pleased with that. I know I didn't really do a very good job of showing all this kit has. It really turned out quite nice. I'm very pleased with that. And that's one of my buildings on the Minneapolis switching part of the layout. In addition, I managed to get, been trying to work on my signage. This is a kit I bought completed by a good friend of mine named Dave Gentry, and I really like it. Fits very nicely back here. But now on to the new stuff. First, we'll get to what I call Howard Brothers. This was the model power kit I talked about in the last video. I did do a little surgery and put a loading door on it. I really like the way these kits are practically modular. I had all sorts of parts left over from one of their kits, and it went together quite nicely. So that got finished. Very pleased with that. One thing I had to leave the smokestack so it would come off because it won't fit in a box. And now the one I'm really proud of, and I just got finished. Okay, went ahead and dug out the box this came in. This is a Cornerstone Northern Light and Power. I've had this kit on a couple layouts, at least not completed, taped in place, and I finally got a chance to really put some time on it. And I couldn't be more pleased with the way this kit has turned out. Once again, it didn't have any loading doors initially, so I dug around in my scrap box and put two on, so two box cars could be, or freight cars could be loaded and unloaded at the same time. The biggest problem I had with the kit was that I didn't have enough room on the layout for the whole thing, so I had to carve off that corner and put everything together. I've got no complaints with that. It turned out quite well. One of the things I participated in a teaching lesson that Vinny Sestito, BNSF 6951, put together some time ago about scratch building. And I've got to admit, I haven't done much scratch building with it, but I'm pretty fearless now as far as kit bashing. A lot of the techniques I learned from his channel went into this, and again, I'm very pleased. So this means that all the main structures are now done on this last part of the layout that hasn't been scenic. So that's kind of the next thing I'm going to be working on is scenery. A few things I want to get done first, but good progress on that. Another new addition to the layout is purchased this through eBay. This is the CMX cleaning machine. I've heard great reviews of this. What it is a track cleaning system that has a dispenser for fluid. I don't have any of the pads on the bottom, but it goes around and dispenses fluid, keeps the pad moist, and goes around and cleans the track. Track cleaning is probably my least favorite activity, so anything that'll help with that, I'm all for. I literally just got it. I haven't even run around the layout yet. I'll keep everybody posted what I think about it. The reviews I've seen online are amazing. So with any luck at all, this will help out in one of my least favorite model railroad activities. I guess the other thing that's been kind of keeping me occupied, model railroad wise, is I've been doing a lot more thinking about how I want to expand or build a new, bigger layout. Behind us here is a 12-foot square piece of real estate in the basement that I have evil intentions on, but it's unfortunately full of a lot of stuff. There's the old adage that time expands to, a task expands to fill the time allocated. I've also found that hobbies tend to expand to fill the space allocated. So I have to do a whole lot of weeding back here. I've come to the conclusion that I want to start working on this sooner rather than later. And I also probably going to have to be a little more dedicated with my time. I have another hobby that I'm pretty active in. I paint in military miniatures and play games with those. And I'm getting to the point where I'm going to step away from that to some extent, certainly the painting of it, so that I can really get this layout built and in place. I've always wanted to do this, so it's going to require me putting a little more time into it. And so I'm hoping that if everything works out right, I've got a few projects for gaming to do and some projects here. I'm hoping that by Christmas vacation, I can start getting rid of some of this stuff and do all the upgrades on the room that's going to be necessary before I put a new layout in. In the meantime, I've been watching all sorts of videos of layouts of similar size. I think at N-scale I can get in all sorts of trouble in 12-foot square. Really the question I'm running into right now is I have two basic approaches I can do. First is just a simple expansion of what I've already done here. If it's not a particularly efficient use of the space, but I could build a much bigger loop where I would be inside of it. It would almost double the size of my layout, and it would allow me to put a working classification yard in. I had to skip that. There just wasn't enough space as is. And it would allow me to continue to use the modules and expand on it. So that's got a lot going for it. And the other approach is to go ahead and just start fresh and use the space, I think, a little bit better. I was thinking like a big U-shaped layout around the sides, kind of in the same vein as Redbird Tony 2010. I think he's done an amazing job with what he does. So these are things to think about in the future. I'm just kind of kicking around ideas, but in one way or another, hopefully by Christmas time, I will start working on a bigger and better layout. So I got that to look forward to. The last thing to go over today, if you'll look at my the page, my homepage for my channel, I happened to stumble across some F units out west of Peoria, just driving around one day, and squealed on the brakes and took some pictures, and I've used that picture in my homepage. It's for the Keokuk Junction Railway. I decided I wanted to go see if they're still using those F units, and so I went on a bit of a quest. I did a little research online to find out where they run and what that railroad is. It's now a part of Pioneer Rail Corp, but at least I know they still have the F units, and I couldn't tell if they still use them or not. So I thought, hey, let's go drive out on a really, really hot day and go see what I could find out. So here's some video of my quest. I also, in Bushnell, ran across a BNSF train with an odd consist waiting, sitting in the hole. So I got that. So I've got a little bit of footage to share. So I hope you enjoy it. It is a hot old day. Rail fanning the Keokuk Junction Railway. I didn't find them in running order, but here's a train all hooked up and ready to go with a couple F units. It just feels good to see these things still in service. Train all lined up and ready to go. Here's the consist from the other direction. I have quite a collection of different locomotives on this short line. Just very interesting to see old F9s still being used right next to CF7s and old Rattlers and all. It's quite the collection. Pretty neat. On the way home in Bushnell, here's an interesting collection of locomotives on the BNSF, waiting for a signal. An odd bunch. I know they weren't exactly action shots, but I was still glad to find what I could find, and that it was way too hot to just stand around and wait for trains, so I didn't come away empty-handed. I love to see old locomotives still in use, so yeah, well, it was very enjoyable, so I hope you like seeing those things too. I guess last but not least, my group, the N-Scale of Bloomington Normal, we were just at Castle Gardens. That's pretty much the second Sunday of the month throughout the summer. I didn't get any footage from it. There wasn't any particularly unique. We've been there a few times. Check back my older videos. I think you'll see some of the stuff they've got there. That's the one that has the big train you can ride in and the working carousel, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there. So we'll be back there the second Sunday in August, which is coming up. The next big show for us is until Decatur in September, so this is kind of a slow time, and I'm good with that. So yeah, that's kind of all I've got for today. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. If you did, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you very much for watching. Take it easy.